we generated around 560 plus million impressions organically. Those
creating property cards for the first time for people owning houses in the rural areas.
We have a patent on a bits technology,
but we were really guided by what we wanted it to be.
In terms of the content consumption pattern has changed.
Very competitive, very crowded.
The objective is basically to democratize cancer care.
I see a very bright future for retail industry.
Technology now allows us to scale up.
We also want to help patients become more compliant.
If I look at the custom solutions market, it's almost about $1,500 billion.
Your customers will not continue to be with you if you don't change gear.
We had adopted digitalization much earlier.
Within a very short span of time, we are the number one operator in the whole of South India.
If you are reaching out to a lakh people today, you would be reaching out to an entire globe tomorrow.
We got those two brands and then immediately got into a few of the LFRS and there was no looking back.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Friday at 11 a.m. This is the 44th episode of Ascent Talks, and my name is Ajit Panikar, and I've been an Ascent member for over 10 years, and I run an air conditioning company called Asnova and a tech-enabled startup in the air conditioning domain called Pure Bloom. And as usual, my co-host is Aleem. How are you doing, Aleem?
Fantastic. Good morning, everyone. My name is Ali Merchant. I run an advertising and marketing company called Synapse. And welcome to Ascent Talks, 44th episode. What is Ascent, Ajit?
Awesome. Yeah. So if you still have people who haven't seen Ascent or who don't know Ascent after the 44th episode, then here it is. Ascent is a not-for-profit organization that helps entrepreneurs grow their business. It was founded by Harsh Mariwala, Chairman Marico Limited, in 2012 and has helped over 850 entrepreneurs. And Ascent's key feature is its trust groups, where entrepreneurs share experiences and ideas. Ascent Talks is hosted weekly to showcase the journeys of its members. So, Alim, let's bring in our guest today.
Yes, today we'll cover a beautiful story of Inder Aurora. Inder has more than 32 years of unparalleled experience in the paper industry and is considered a pioneer in imported recovered paper. He's driven by the singular vision to help our planet recover by promoting the use of recovered and recycled paper, and as well as to set new standards in paper trading and converting. Inder set up Tradecom International in 1988 to bring the best recycled and recovered papers as well as wood pulp from across the world to India. He then founded Unisource in 2007 to offer customized solutions to the Indian packaging industry via a range of imported and domestic paper grades. Inder heads teams with pan-India networks and has forged robust business relationships with major paper mills across the globe. He has spoken at global industry conferences with a key focus around recovered paper. Welcome, Inder, to the show.
Yeah, hi. Good morning, Ajit. Good morning, Ali. Happy to be on the show. I'm looking forward to half an hour of interesting engagement with you guys. Thank you.
Fantastic. Inder, why don't you tell us what is recovered paper, what is recycled paper, and tell us what does Unisource really do today, and your story basically.
That's a very good question to start with. Basically, when I came into the trade in 1988, after working almost as an intern with a paper mill, so it used to be known as waste paper. Something which you collect on the streets, offices, converters, and then take it back to your recycling center, bale it, make it ready to go to a paper mill, and then reprocess it and make a paper out of it. And if I can add, my grandma asked me after I passed out, "What do you do, son?" So I said, "I'm doing this business." He says, "This is a Raddi ka business." shame on you. You're doing this business, and I'll talk later on my show as to how this whole industry has evolved over the years. So should I give a snapshot of other companies as well?
Go ahead and tell us about,
Yeah. So when I started this, India had just started. India was going through a paper famine at that time. So government of India allowed all the business houses that you can bring in a second-hand paper machine and use recovered paper as a raw material to make paper to tide over this challenge. Because India, as it is, we don't have enough forest, and our forestry is all fragmented and owned by small farmers. So there was not enough wood available to the extent to make paper. So there had to be an alternate raw material, and this recovered paper was emerging as a new raw material for the paper industry. So and when I did an internship for a paper mill who had just started out, so obviously I got an opportunity to learn earlier as to how the paper is collected, where does it come from, and all those learnings. And I told my dad I'm moving to Bombay. It was a small town. He was there, and he says, "What are you going to do?" I said, "Let me go there and I'll start something." And then I started this Tradecom International, made it to a private limited in 1995. And then I said, well, and then, we were one of the few 3-4 guys in the industry who were almost selling to everyone in the industry. There were new machines, there were new paper mills coming up every day. And as my nature was that either I could have been satisfied there, and since those were the initial days, there was not much competition. We were making good money. So I said, no, nothing doing. I'm going to get into something else. So I added a vertical wherein India, like I said, a wood-starved country, so would bring in a ready-made pulp from North America and Scandinavia, where they have huge, humongous forests, and they pulp that wood and make ready-made pulp, which is used as a raw material by the paper mills. So the paper mills would use that to make a paper. Either they will add it or mix it with some other raw material as a furnish, or they would use 100%. But mostly it is, let's say, mills in northern India who have a lot of agri waste, which is called non-wood fiber. So they add that pulp, which is a long fiber coming from up north, to the raw material to make a proper paper and give it a strength, and so on and so forth. So when I added to this, we also, later talking about Tradecom later during the subsequent years, so we saw an opportunity in the hygiene industry. So a lot of hygiene industry, earlier it used to be only P&G or Unicharm of the world who were selling hygiene products in India. But government incentivized, government started distributing free of cost hygiene products to the people. So a lot of industries came up in India who started making all these sanitary pads and so on and so forth, different products. So the product used there is to make that is the fluff pulp. So we started getting in, we tied up with a mill in Europe. So we started getting in fluff pulp and started selling to all these mills.
Wow.
So while all this was happening, and I was going around because my job was sourcing from all over the world and selling to the customers in India. So I would travel all the countries, almost, always on my foot. So I saw how the large paper mills in America and Europe are catering to small and medium customers in city centers, because the mills typically, because of environmental reasons, because of the raw material availability, they are located in deep forest and remotely away from the main cities. So I saw a lot of converting companies are being used by these paper mills, that they would send them their jumbo rolls, and these converting companies would convert those rolls and supply just in time to the converters in India. So I said, why not I replicate this model in India? So I came back and started looking for a machine. Without a contract in my hand, I got an opportunity to buy a huge machine in America. I flew in 5 days, finalized the deal, and the machine came. And the machine was sitting for 2 years, and I didn't get a job here. People said, oh, you want so much of money, or this work, that work? In a sense, because it was not something which was all conceived and conceptualized. But then I ended up meeting some top guys in ITC. So they saw an opportunity because they were having supply chain challenges, catering to customers from their mill into Bombay, Delhi, and stuff like that. They said they gave me a go ahead. In 3-4 months, we started out a plant for ITC in Pune and one in Delhi, and that changed their entire sales model. Today, you go to a customer using ITC products, Unisource. It is from a Unisource facility, and they place an order today and they get it in 48 hours.
Wow.
And then alongside, I also saw another opportunity that boxes in India are made by brown paper, and those and that brown paper is not good enough because it is made from recycled fiber. And mills in North America and Europe, they make paper typically out of wood because they have rich forests and all that. So that paper is much stronger than recycled paper, even though both the papers have an application. So I said, let me set up 2 plants in India and get these jumbo rolls into India and customize and cater to all the converters like I'm doing it for ITC. In fact, I did this part first, getting in jumbo rolls, and seeing this ITC got sort of an insight as to that we can do this job. So we started bringing in that. Today we have another 2 units, one in Pune and one in Sonipat, Haryana, wherein we bring in jumbo rolls and supply to all the top converters of the country who are making boxes, who have replaced wood and making boxes out of this strong paper, which is made from virgin fiber for export of auto parts, or maybe if I know if Ajit would be seeing a paper where a Daikin AC would be covered, that paper is made from a very strong paper. Otherwise, it would not hold your unit, refrigeration unit, and so on and so forth. So like that, over the years, like Ascent 95.
For somebody who is listening to you, he will suddenly realize, यार ये बंदा अपना फादर को बोला था छोटे शहर में कि मैं बंबई जा रहा हूँ रद्दी का बिजनेस करने के लिए, and today when he is listening to you, saying, dude, our man's really gone a long way, man. And it's very inspiring, from where it started and to what you built is truly magnificent. But here comes also a question. You've gone into the recycled space at a very early stage. Tell us, how big is the space? What are the opportunities that the country or the world is actually throwing up for people who are in the space or people who aspire to get into the space?
So I'd like to give you a little bit of brief of globally how big the pulp and paper industry is, and bring it down, zero it down to India. So globally, pulp and paper industry produces 400 million tons of paper. And if I give you an immediate correlation, India produces only 20 million tons of paper today, close to 20 million tons of paper, against 400 million. And India is the fifth largest country in terms of pulp and paper production, not consumption, production. The largest being China, which is over 100 million. Then comes US, which is little less than that, and then comes Germany, and then comes Japan, and then comes India. So I'm just trying to mention here how Indian industry is poised to grow, considering that our population is as large as China. This is one part how our industry will grow over the years, next 30 to 40 years, or maybe whatever timeline. You never know. Things are changing very fast now. Now, on the consumption side, I told you about the production side. On the consumption side, India's per capita consumption of paper today is 14 to 15 kgs per person, whereas America is about 350. and global average is about 57 to 60 kgs per person. So if I have to correlate this with 1.4 million, billion population, and 1 kg of per capita consumption of paper increasing, so you can say that this country would need 1 million tons of additional capacity. So that capacity, India doesn't have enough forest. Plantation is all by the small farmers. And major raw material today in India is 70% is waste, recovered paper. So basically, this and India will grow. Our new education policy, our government's initiative on a ban on single-use plastic, and our growing population, our rising consumer demand, all these things will take India at much faster pace in terms of paper consumption. Maybe our industry will not be able to catch up. So eventually, down the line, India will become a net importer, as what I am seeing. Indian industry is doing enough, but then the pace, the growth of paper consumption is Indian industry will have to rely on the import of paper, which might come from Europe, US, or China, who are the large producers of paper. So this is about paper production and paper consumption. So let me give you a little bit perspective about recovered paper. So India, like I said, 70% of the raw material of the paper mills, the 20 million ton production, consume recovered paper as their main raw material. And only 22% is made from the wood. And these mills, they have very strong farm forestry initiative. They supply clones to the farmers. They help them to, sow trees, and they cut those trees and take it there for paper making. And then there is a certain percentage, about 8 to 10% paper being made from agro waste, which is a non-wood fiber. And India today, with 20 million ton of overall production, or 13-14 million tons made from recovered paper, is the largest importer of recovered paper in the world. China used to be, until they banned import of waste paper in 2020.
Oh, okay.
For reasons that it is contaminated and so on and so forth. So obviously now what is happening is China has put up their mills outside China, and in Vietnam, Cambodia, there are mills in India. They are importing all this recovered paper, and they're making pulp out of it and sending it to China, and also that pulp is being used to make paper. So this industry, as far as the Indian perspective is concerned, is at a very nascent stage. I have been in the industry, like I said, for 35 years. So when I started, China was at this level when I started my career. So today, China is number one, over 100 million tons. So I see down the line, 30, 40, 50 years, this industry opens a lot of opportunity. In fact, I'm seeing different things happening in the industry, like entire global publishing is being done in India today. It's like a publishing hub,
Got it.
And I mean, I can really carry on. Carry on.
Yeah, I know. That seems correct.
Yeah.
because that 30 minutes just seems to be very short for your subject.
Yeah.
And then I have one question for you. Okay, what I understand is that you have a very good relationship with ITC. Almost 50% of your business, and 2 of your plants are running. One in Pune and one in Sonipet, only for ITC. Now, as an entrepreneur, okay, how do you manage this relationship, and how risky is it when everything is skewed? A lot of it is skewed on one customer. I mean, I've made that mistake. A lot of us have made that mistake where everything is dependent on one customer. How do you manage that? Is there a learning that we have?
I can only, if I have to answer you in one word, I haven't seen a corporate in my lifetime, globally or anywhere, with ethos and practices what ITC adopts. You don't have to feel insecure about anything when you deal with ITC. Today, I do this contract sheeting for them. I sell paper to them. I buy paper from them. And And I export. I'm trying to export now in my new company, which I formed in Hong Kong, their paper globally. I have never felt insecure. In fact, they have been so nice. They have been so fair into all their dealings. In fact, and they work so closely with their partners. I can only say that this is the company, if anybody would aspire to work for, is ITC. Is ITC.
Truly
And
amazing.
I have.
That's absolutely great. Very few people actually kind of endorse their principles so well, where the dependency is high. But in that, here also comes a question. You're employing over kind of 250 odd people, of which close to about 100 of them are white collar employees. Tell us, as an entrepreneur, how do you attract talent and how do you retain talent? What are the things that you've deployed that actually help you with these two things?
Yeah,
That's the most difficult part of my business. I have never felt a shortage of money. There are challenges. You need to collateralize all your borrowings and so on and so forth working in India. But hiring talent is also not difficult, but hiring and retaining talent is very, very difficult. We have tried our best. We have done so many initiatives to change the culture of our company. How to, basically the problem is when you are transitioning from small to medium and medium to a large corporate, that transition itself, whatever you may do as an individual, first you have to change yourself. My company is run by me and my daughter. She's with me in business for 7, 8, 10 years. In fact, I would not have grown so much if my daughter was not around. She helps me to grow because she's the softer side of my whole business. So it's very, very difficult. It's how things go wrong, why things go wrong. You're not able to analyze. All you do is you keep making an effort as to how to retain good people around you.
Fabulous.
But my efforts will never die. I'll continue and I'll see that I have best of professionals working. Like I mentioned, I keep mentioning, I want to make this company like an employee-owned company because I don't have a huge succession. We are okay to be a shareholder in the organization. Eventually the organization be run by the professionals. That is what is my aspiration.
And then I'm glad you brought up succession because that was going to be my next question. So I know that, like you correctly mentioned right now, that your daughter is now in the business. How are you doing succession planning? Can you share with our listeners and viewers that how are you planning this entire succession? Because it's a big challenge for a lot of people.
See, like I said, my wife, even though she's well qualified, she's an ex-banker. She doesn't have an interest in my business. She did help me in initial years. And my daughter, she is 24/7 like me into the business. But we feel that if we have to grow this business to 10x level, we are not good enough. So we have decided that we will stay as custodians of this organization. We will be a board-run company. We will. That's why I've been associated with a couple of guys who have worked with large corporates to tell us as to what are the best practices, how decisions are taken, taking the team along, and hire best of the professionals. That is what is my succession plan. So make my daughter to be good enough to run the organizations. Maybe I may not hang my boots so easily. I will be around, but I am definitely always trying that she takes a front seat and I'm behind. But at times, you have to be alongside. I won't say ahead. So that are my small plans. I hope it answers your question.
So in that, I wish your daughter is listening. This is a message for you that you are going to be in the driver's seat and I'm going to be in the back seat. Okay, that's a clear message.
I requested her that if you can join, please do join.
She is live because I think she's left a comment for you, Aarti Aurora, if I'm not wrong.
Okay, that's my wife. That's my wife.
That's awesome.
She's my critic. She's my absolute strongest critic.
We get a lot of vibes on the show.
Yeah.
Right.
So Inder, also here comes the question, as to can you tell us about your Ascent journey? You've been an Ascent member, so can you tell us a little about your Ascent journey?
Starting from the day when Ajit, you were the initiator of our group, Money Ballers. You know, it has been very interesting journey. You know, I would just say everything good. There have been times low also, low time for me as a person when I have realized, like you keep analyzing at your mind as to what value it is bringing. But let me tell you, I hang on, and I have missed very few least amount of meetings, our monthly meetings.
Wow.
And what drives me is when I listen to this first time generation entrepreneurs, second generation entrepreneurs, and there are 2-3 people who are near around my age also. You know, I get a very different perspective as to how my business evolved and how these guys are shipping up. You know, what I would have done at that age at my time, or what I need to do now, or come and share with me my daughter that you see this is how people are running their business, and you look at it, think about it. And last but not the least, I don't stay quiet when it comes to telling the people, hey, what are you talking? This is how it should be. I'm like, I'm of the age of your dad, you know, so I don't hesitate. I don't hesitate being vocal about it. So basically sharing my experiences with them, this is how it takes to run a business, you know. It's not going to be so easy. So I keep doing my bit to keep me engaged in terms of receiving and giving back to the members.
Fabulous, Inder, and I'm glad you brought that up because a lot of Ascent members and non-Ascent members need to know that Ascent is not a Gyan-giving platform, it's an experience-sharing platform, and we need to constantly keep telling people that share your experiences, don't give Gyan. I think that's what makes the entire environment very comfortable, and you know, Ajit has taught me that multiple times whenever I've co-initiated groups with him. Also.
No, we follow the constitution very, very strictly, all of us, you know, and we are very good to tell each other that, hey, this is not allowed. This is not allowed.
Nice. Inder, tell us about your personal life. Aarti is live, and tell us about your wife, your daughter, your personal life. Tell us anything besides paper.
So I can't lie anything. You know,
but you don't have to get so Inder, I have one thing. You don't have to get so truthful that this video becomes controversial and you have to go home tonight. So just tell us the right thing, okay?
So I'm I don't know if when I got engaged, I told my wife. She asked me like, you know, so many things and all. So I told her, you don't mind it. I want to tell one thing honestly. Business is my first wife. She really supported me and said, I have no problem. I said, I have to take care of my work before I take care of anything in my life. And this day, I'm telling you, I have full support from her, you know, because I am more like a all play, no work, make storm a dull boy sort of a person, you know. Even though I love trekking, I love cycling, you know, but when it comes to work, you know, this morning also she said, are we going for a walk? I said, no, I have a Ascent meeting. I need to do some research. So let's do it in the evening, something like that. And last but not the least, we are both of us are blessed with a daughter. She's so nice. She's so obedient. She's so well bred. Because if I could go to IIMs and IITs or any big B schools in America, so, and my wife, she's from Delhi and she's done her from Jesus Mary graduation and then Delhi University, a postgrad and all those things. So, but we made sure that we give best to our daughters. We sent her to US, to Michigan State, to supply chain. And now, let me tell you, she really takes care of both of us. She takes care of the business. She's so loving. Yeah, and she's married also 3, 4, 5 years back. She's got a very good in-law. So in a sense, it's life fulfilled. If I have to answer for all of us, if my wife is listening, I'm sure she'll endorse this. It's life fulfilled,
amazing.
and she's done every bit to take care of the daughter while I was busy at work.
One thing's for
It's
sure,
amazing,
Ajit.
isn't it? Yeah.
Ajit, one thing's for sure. If you just on your engagement, if you tell your fiance, I need to tell you something, and then you build it up, and then you say, my first love is business, I think she'll accept it because it's the safest thing to say.
Yeah, I know. But in that, it's amazing. Listen, we're just down to our 30 minutes, but it's really fantastic how you're a first generation entrepreneur told your father कि रद्दी का business करेगा, and you build this fabulous business, and you're an extremely wonderful person. You're a very proud father. I mean, that kind of showcase, the way you were talking about your family. It's amazing. It's fantastic listening to you in that, and it's been a pleasure having you on the show today with us.
Thank you so much. Thank you. It was loving to talk to you guys.
Thank you so much,
fun.
Inder.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank
you so much. And look forward to meeting person. Thank you.
That's right. Wow, that was amazing, man. Too good. But yeah, so we're down to our 44th episode. And guys, if you like these shows and if you like these stories that we bring around, and if they do inspire you, share it with the other people. And if you're truly growth ready, and get to ascentfoundation.in and put in an application. And the Ascent team will get in touch with you. And if you are truly growth ready, we'll be happy to have you as part of our cohort. So that's for today, this Friday. And we're going to see you next Friday at 11 a.m. again with another interesting entrepreneurial story. Thank you very much, guys. Have a wonderful weekend. And see you next week.
See you soon. Bye.
Yep. Bye.